Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that's Connor, and we are going to talk about Netflix's Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, Season 1, Episode 5. It's called The Wide Window, Part 1.
Look, I can appreciate you doing the joke once, but I'm gonna stab you.
Full spoilers for the episode, and the kids have been shipped off to the next relative. Aunt Josephine, who lives on a small island, which is on a large lake.
Yes, it's very, very key.
Yeah, I'm not going to forget that, because they reminded us multiple times that it's not the sea, it's a large lake. And yeah, she's a hypochondriac. She's scared of everything. She is worried that doorknobs will shatter. And
Is that a hypochondriac?
what else do you call it?
I mean, hypochondriac is just when you think you're ill constantly, and you know.
Okay, sure. I'm sure there's a word for this though, specifically.
There probably is, but I'm not sure it's that.
Okay, fine. I've jumped to that, but yeah. I need Lemony Snicket to tell me what the right word is.
We do. We need him to pop in and go.
Because he tells us a lot of these things, and I like that. It's useful. Yeah. But no, so she's like that. She doesn't like having the stove on. She doesn't like anything. She's terrified of everything.
Yeah. She's disconnected the doorbell and the phone for electricity.
Which goes against everything we hear about her from, like, the cab driver and just various other people. Like, no, she's fearless. She's like the worst of this secret society. She's the most dangerous one. And
yeah, like really fearsome.
Yeah, but you get the sense that she, ever since her husband died from eels and the
leeches, I think it was
leeches in the water, she's become like this, and she's kind of like that. So that's kind of the setup with her, and she's scared of everything. Meanwhile, of course, Count Olaf and his cronies have sailed to the island, and we guess it before he even does his persona. Sorry,
it's rowed, not sailed.
Semantics.
There's a difference.
Sure.
Well, no, because it's funnier because it should be sailing because then they don't have to do anything. But he sat in the boat being pulled by the others, and they're doing the rowing. That's
Fine.
the joke.
Which is when they introduced the whole I'm out on the sea, and he's like, large lake, and this keeps coming up. He keeps saying sea, and different people keep correcting him saying large lake, which was quite funny. And before we even get to him doing his persona, though, where he wrangles his way into the lives once again, there's a scene where he goes to this like, it's sort of like a restaurant owner who is out sweeping in front of his porch, and he recognises Olaf, and he's part of the secret society, and he mentions that Jocelyn's like the most dangerous one. That was another sort of repetition of
Josephine.
Josephine, sorry. And they mention Lemony Snicket again.
Yeah, like he's an agent of the society.
Yeah, and they even says, wait, isn't he dead? And it makes that previous joke that I really liked, the meta one, less meta, in the sense that Lemony Snicket's actually a character in the show that will be a part of the story in some way.
He's like a rival for Olaf.
Yeah, like
they
Olaf,
have history.
Yeah, Olaf's not happy about it. Hence the don't mention that name.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that is curious. I wonder where that's going. That's good
I will actually say, just before we talk about this episode as a whole, this one was written, actually, I believe, by the writer of the books.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
Yeah, Daniel Harland, I think his name is. I caught the name when it came up. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's him, like just cool. Not his pen name.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that scene opened up just a few more bits of this mystery, and just...
Yeah, and obviously we know he's not dead because we're seeing him.
Well, that depends. Do you count that? Like, I feel like that...
Because he's recounting the tale in the past tense.
Okay.
So we know he can't be dead.
Unless he's doing it from the afterlife.
Well...
Because it's a very meta thing where he's talking to us. Like, who's he telling the story to? And I feel like you could argue that he is actually dead. I don't think he will be, though. I feel like it'll be more interesting if he's not.
It feels like he's just presenting the story, like presenting the evidence.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. I just think it's super interesting. I was super intrigued, and I was like, oh, this is kind of
I do want to talk about his stuff when we get to the end, though.
Snickets?
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, so the kids convince her to leave the house, but basically fearmonger. They realise the way to get her to do stuff is to enforce a fear, so she'll do the thing that counteracts it. So they make her leave the house to go get food because there's a hurricane possibly. And all I can think is, yeah, if a hurricane hits with this house that's like on the edge of this cliff, like super up high, that house is just going to go.
You'd assume so.
Yeah, but
And
so
to be fair, it looks like that may have happened.
yeah,
Given
because it's
the
all
ending of the
slanty.
episode.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
slanty.
yeah, like it's all gone, isn't it?
Yeah. So they get rid of her and they make their own food so they can actually heat it up, and this is all amusing. But when she comes back, oh, actually, I should mention they go into the safe and they find some stuff.
The safe crackers. Oh my god.
That line cracked me up. Actually, Sunny multiple times in this episode. She was probably the funniest thing in this episode for me. The safe. So they find a box of crackers in the safe, and she calls them safe crackers, which was funny because they just broke into the safe. The other thing she did that was funny, when the aunt says that she doesn't heat up food, she doesn't use a stove, it just cuts to this reaction shot of Sunny, and she doesn't say anything, but it's like, say what? Like, it was just,
It
it was so funny.
what are you chatting, woman?
Yeah, it was so funny. And then the other one is when Olaf shows up as the sailor, who's taking the aunt out on the date. I can't remember what he says to cause her to say this, but Sunny just like randomly, it cuts to Sunny and just the subtitle reads, "Go and jump in the lake." It was just so dark. I thought it was really funny. She was cracking me up. So yeah, so they find the safe and there's stuff in there. There's like all these photos of the aunt being like a boxer, skydiving, like various things.
With crocodiles, I think one of them was.
To show that she used to be this other person, that used to be this fearless person that changed. And then another version of this book, the history of the secret society thing, the secrets of being in a secret society, or whatever it was called, that we've seen before. That was in like one of the first episodes.
I think it was in Strauss's library.
Do you know what I like? I like this running theme that every single one that they go to has a library of some kind.
Yeah.
They're all these, and it ties in with this whole theme of the show of like this. What does that word mean? The meaning of words and all that. And each one of them has a library. This literary theme is, I can't say
literary
without saying
literary.
Thank you, that word. But it ties in with that theme, and it's a constant thing that's going throughout the show, which is really nice, and presumably the books as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it makes sense with them coming from books, and it's like a nice little self-referential thing, isn't it?
So the plot with Olaf though is that he has, I wouldn't say seduced, but he has presented himself to the aunt to take her on a date, specifically for a fried egg. And every time they brought this up that they were going for a fried egg, it was cracking me up.
Fried egg sandwich, wasn't it?
Fried egg sandwich, yeah. And because every time they brought it up, it was like, I'm taking you out for a nice fried egg. And I'm like, who takes someone out for a fried egg?
Yeah, and they got funnier as well when they were looking for where they could be gone.
And there was like
there's
six,
all these egg places.
Yeah, it's like 6 places that are good for fried egg on the island.
Yeah,
It was weird. I know, it was.
That was another one. Did Sunny recommend they call an Uber?
She did, yeah.
Which I thought was really weird. Like that might have been one that it kind of stuck out because it's like I don't think of Uber in this.
Well, when they referenced the streaming server, like streaming TV, a couple episodes ago, that was also kind of weird because it kind of feels like this almost feels like a period piece, and then there'll be one or two references that say, "Oh no, it's not. It's obviously present day."
Yeah, it's so strange.
So that's weird, and that's because I don't. Have we seen anyone use a mobile phone, a cell phone?
I mean,
seen it.
Look at the phone that she had covered up. It was like a proper old timey spinny circle one.
A rotary phone.
That's the one. The word was gone.
Spinny circle.
You get the idea.
Okay. So yeah, but that's the plot. And he shows up, and the kids immediately know it's him. They can tell, and Aunt Josephine's like, "Don't call him Olaf. Don't bring up that awful man." So again, they play this whole idea that the adults can't tell.
I like that he's learned his lesson because last time he got caught from the tattoo on his left ankle.
Yeah.
And this time it's like, well, he's got a peg leg.
Yeah, I was actually like, I was thinking like, I was so sure that at some point he was going to turn around and you would see that he was just holding his leg up, like it was just his knee was on the peg leg.
Yeah.
Actually, that was one of my favourite little moments from him is when she asks how did it happen, or because it cuts back to when she reveals that she's got this date with this guy, and we see who it is. It cuts back to the scene where they meet each other in the market, and he's got all his henchmen like subliminally behind him saying, "Oh, this captain's a really nice man. Oh, he's so handsome," and so on.
I wish I could be so lucky.
Yeah, and they'll split the whole scene. In fact, one of my other favourite funny moments of this episode is when they're all saying stuff. It keeps cutting back to them saying stuff after he says stuff or after she says stuff, reinforcing that he's handsome, that he's nice or whatever. And one of the times it cuts through all of them saying something, and he says, "Oh, it's when he says something like, oh, I do that too." He says that they've got something in common because of whatever, and
it's all the hiding the electricity and stuff like that.
It cuts to the bald guy, and it's after they mention the husband, and the bald guy says, "I've never even heard of your husband, Ike." He says his name, and it just really cracked me up. It's a really, really good joke. But yeah, it cuts back to this, and that was a really funny scene actually. The way it kept cutting back to them in the background.
Yeah, it was good.
Just sort of reinforcing everything, saying these silly things. But yeah, so he takes her out on a date, and the kids try and leave, but the henchmen all show up and can't let them leave, and so on, and it goes on. But it ends up in a really dark ending to this episode.
Yeah.
Well, even though it cuts to Lemony Snicket and he says, "Oh no, she's not actually dead," it implies that she has committed suicide by jumping out the window.
Yeah, and left them a note.
And left them a note. Although I am assuming that it was more likely Olaf that's at play here, rather than
I think what I like
suicide.
about that is, obviously it seems dark, and then Lemony Snicket pops in and goes, "Oh, but she's not dead yet."
Yeah,
so
not dead yet. That's the actual ending. That's what the cliffhanger is. She's not dead yet. Yeah. And but we got a scene with the parents again, of course, and they're getting ready to fly a plane to try and get back out of Peru. And there's all these little jokes about how the honeymoon involved flying a plane through enemy territory
and all the bullets,
and the bullet holes, And
I'm really glad they cast these strong comedic actors in this role, because while they're meant to be like badasses and stuff, they are very funny.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, there's also at one point Violet has this idea where she's going to build a ladder to go down the side of this 300-foot drop because they can't get to the front of the house. And they have a nice little heart-to-heart, and that's good. And I feel like the emotion is there. I do think this episode, I didn't enjoy it as much as the last couple. Maybe it feels a bit more set-up-y for the first half of it, where it's getting them to the house.
I get that. I feel like that is a problem with the part ones in general, where they're a little bit repetitive in, okay, we get them to the house and see what the costume of Olaf is this time.
Yeah, it's when you get to the part 2 and the antics really begin.
Yeah.
This is the one thing where maybe it would have been wiser just to put them out as 4 longer things, just 4 movies essentially.
Yeah, I feel like it really worked for the first one, in particular, like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Where they felt, because you were introducing the show and then antics, so it felt like, okay, that made sense.
Yeah, even the second one worked as well as in episode 3 for in episode 4.
It did.
Because the cliffhanger felt like the end of an episode. This is the first one where I feel like it didn't really feel like a full episode with a beginning, middle, and an end.
I agree. Yeah. And I feel like that's something, the further it goes on, the more that it's kind of going to feel like that.
And I don't think it's a big deal, because ultimately you're going to watch them probably close together anyway.
Yeah, you can just go on to the next one straight away if you want.
But it's the first time it felt like that, so I want to point it out and say that criticism is there. So, what did you want to say about Snicket before we wrap up?
So we get these scenes at the start all the time with the typewriter.
Now we're talking about Snicket, actually, I want to just point out one of my other favourite... This is a really subtle, funny moment. It's when this isn't the bit I like, this is how it starts. He walks out of this clothes shop and he's wearing the same clothes as the mannequin in the window.
Yeah.
Right, that's funny in itself. It's when he's talking about irrational fears, and he talks about lemon meringue pie. It's like, lemon meringue pie never hurt anyone. And just as he says that, the person in the background walks out of a shop holding like 12 lemon meringue pies as if he might fall and have an accident. And it's just this subtle little thing.
Well,
really good.
Actually, as well, before I move on, I really like how they subverted the joke about, they explain something to the kids, like a word, and they're like, we know what that means. And this time, she asks, what did that mean?
And she tells her the wrong word, yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, you should know this.
Yeah, he explains the meaning of taxi when she was looking for the other word, yeah.
Yeah. I like that, just a nice little flip it every so often.
But yeah, Snicket.
Yeah, so we kind of start all these, I don't know if we start every episode or if it's just the alternate.
It's the part ones. Because I noticed it wasn't on the fourth one. It's just the part ones.
The typewriter scenes, and I'm assuming that's him right now. It feels like, when you get when you open a book and it has dedicated to it, there's a little message. It feels like those. They might actually be taken straight from the books. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But I think is the name Elizabeth?
Beatrice.
Beatrice. And that's I think I'm assuming that's his wife that died that we heard about.
Do you think Olaf had something to do with it?
I do.
Hmm.
And I also thought what was interesting is at the very end when he's standing on the cliff, the house is kind of gone, right? And there's just a bit of wall left, and it says Beatrice on it behind him.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so that's in universe as well, and now we got this Olaf stuff, and it's like, oh, okay. I'm actually really enjoying that. Maybe he's a big part of this mystery, and he's just there.
Yeah, we'll get to him eventually. Maybe not even this season. Maybe this will be like, this is the finale. This is when we get to the end of season 3 or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm liking that it's kind of setting these things up, and we're getting these hints that.
Because I didn't know this when I started watching it. This whole teasing of him actually being a character in the universe is something that I didn't know about, which is really cool. So, no, I'm looking forward to when that finally comes up. But anyway, that is episode 5 of...
Did you notice the different song this time?
I did, yeah. It's like most of it's the same, but there's that one verse that is specific for
the final verse tells you what this story is.
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed that, and it showed clips of the house and all that and whatnot. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah, so that's episode 5 of a series of unfortunate events. Episode 6 review will be up tonight. It'll be late because we've got Taboo to do and comics podcast to put up, but it will be up some point tonight before we wrap up. So yeah, thanks very much for that. We will finish tomorrow. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff helps us out a lot. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.